What's up, y'all? This is Jordan with Be Ready Self-Defense, and today, or tonight I should say, we're going to do a review on the Hard Ready HR-1 knife and why, even though there are other options that I like a little bit better, there is a very specific reason I bought this knife and still carry it often. What we're gonna look at today, which is a self-defense specific EDC knife, which is gonna get us into this world of kind of fixed blade sheath knives. So let's talk about the specifics on the Hard Ready HR-1 blade. So it comes in this Kydex sheath, which we'll go over in a little bit here. There is the logo. Hopefully you can see that. Comes in all black, which I love. And then it has this Tonto style blade. It's about 2.5 inches long, I believe. And then what's also interesting is you'll notice it's the knife itself. It doesn't have like a handle or like a wood handle or anything like that, or grip. It's just the straight cut of the steel, which is interesting. Now, as far as the steel goes, the older versions used to be made out of LMAX steel, which if you know anything about LMAX steel, it's pretty good stuff. But this one I noticed is made from German X30 CR12, which I couldn't really find much about on Google, and my friend who's pretty into knives and steel didn't really know much about it either. So I asked Hard Ready about it, and the main reason they switched from the LMAX was to drive the price point down. So this and the training knife, which we'll talk about, will run you about $79.99. And the older versions definitely used to be a lot more that were made out of LMAX. And their other reasoning was, I mean, kind of like I said, it's a self-defense knife. Hopefully I never have to use it, or I maybe only use it one time. So as long as it's decent steel, as they're claiming, as long as I don't use it for anything else, it should be fine, in theory. And the last thing is this little guy right here, which I'm pretty sure is just for spinning the knife around, like this. So it's not actually for spinning. I know you guys want to do like some cool spinning Kali shit, like. Okay, it's actually kind of fun. Okay, that's never gonna happen. What it is, however, is a retention ring. The idea is, at least as far as I think, your finger goes through the ring here, therefore making it harder for the knife to be ripped out of my hand. Of course, you could always hold it this way, but I guess maybe there's a chance it could come out the other end. But if you can get your finger through there, it's going to be easier to retain. Now, I guess you could strike with this as well, with this butt end. However, it does not feel great. It kind of sucks hitting with that. You could hold it this way too and still strike with it. Honestly, that kind of sucks too. Yeah, it doesn't feel great to hit with. Maybe some paracord wrapped around the handle might make it a little bit better. I'll have to try that out. And I know what you're thinking, like, Jordan, it's a fight, like, man up, but I don't know. I'd like it to feel a little bit better in my hands would be nice. The other thing too is having practice with it a little bit. It's hard, or I imagine it would be pretty tough under stress to slip the finger through the ring and get the knife out. After practicing with it, I fail quite a bit, or I'm definitely not as fast getting my finger through the hole and then deploying the knife. But grabbing it the other way without getting your finger in the retention ring is definitely not too bad. I guess maybe it's just one of those things, if you have time, or maybe I just need to practice more and I suck, I don't really know. But for now, I think if you're going for a quick draw or you're really close quarters with them, I would just go over the top as opposed to through the ring. But I'll have to practice with it a little bit more. Just on the sheath, so it comes in this Kydex sheath, which is fine. You can adjust the cant of the knife as well. It comes with a little tool. And then it also has this barb right here, mostly for EDC, self-defense carry. You're gonna carry it in front. There's a nice shot of my groin there. But in front where it's easily accessible. And that barb keeps the sheath from coming out, and of course, then allows you to deploy your knife. And I personally like to have it in my jab hand, my closer hand. But of course, you could cross draw as well in different scenarios. Now, one small little gripe about the sheath, there is this kind of little space right there, if you can see that. And if I shake it super hard, which most likely won't happen, you know, upside down in a real scenario, it did pop out of the sheath. Now, I talked about some other knives that I do kind of like a little bit better in some ways, like this K-bar, for example. And this one, if you listen to it, it really clicks into the sheath. I mean, this thing is not going anywhere. So I really like that. The handle is a little bit, feels a little bit better. It's not quite as harsh as this one. But even though there are things like that I like better about other knives, there's still a reason that I went with this knife and really love it. And that is because of this bad boy, the training knife. This is huge. To me, this is the main selling point of this knife, the fact that it comes with this trainer. As you can see, it's the same cut as the actual knife, just without the edge and the point, of course. It is a little bit lighter. I believe it's made out of aluminum, but it fits in the same sheath. I can train with it and adapt that feel and touch and sensitivity that will translate to the real knife itself, which is important if I'm going to use this in an actual scenario. They give you this training knife for a reason. The knife is a tool, guys, and if we have a tool, we need to know how to use it. Just like if you carry a gun, you need to train with it and know how to use it properly. Same thing with an everyday carry knife for self-defense. We should train with it, and this allows us to do that. So on the subject of training, though, you might be asking, well, how do I train with this knife? Well, luckily the answer to that really isn't too crazy. Now, when people think about knife fighting, they typically think about like hitting all the vital arteries and all that stuff. But really, when it comes to fighting with a knife, just learn how to strike, right? Learn how to grapple, but also just learn how to strike. Know how to throw a jab cross. Like, if you can't throw a decent jab cross, then how are you gonna hit someone effectively with this? Now, I know fighting with a knife, like using this is relatively easy. Stick them with the pointy end for all my Game of Thrones fans. But at the same time, I'm going to be way more successful if I know how to strike well and use my body mechanics and movement to make me more deadly and more useful with this weapon. Plus, I'm not always trying to kill everyone with this. Every time we talk about fighting with a knife, we're like under this impression that my goal is to kill the person. To me, the knife is a tool. It can help get me out of crappy situations, maybe on the ground or up against a wall, or it can help me control and create space so that I can more freely move or run away, or maybe draw my gun or something like that. I'm not always just trying to slice someone up with it. It takes a lot to stab someone, like mentally and emotionally. I don't think it's quite as easy as we think, but we'll talk about that more on a future video. So there you have it, guys. That is everything on the Hard Ready HR-1 blade. Definitely a great knife. Good build. Love that it comes with the trainer. If you have any questions about it, feel free to just leave them in the comments down below. With that said, make sure that you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We're going to be doing more videos on this knife, particularly with the training blade and training with it. We also have a knife series that we started recently. I'll go ahead and put that somewhere up here or link it in the description. So make sure that you check that out and that you have those notifications on so that you can see those future videos. This is Jordan with Be Ready Self-Defense. Train perfectly, fight ferociously, and be ready.